What's up everyone? Today I'm bringing a deck profile on my Amazements. Now, Amazements is a pretty fun archetype. It's kind of like Guys, but in equip form in a weird way. And originally I had this deck made a different way, but the recent ban list kind of changed that because I had to take 3 summon limit and 2 anti-spell out, so definitely changed this deck, and actually all the deck profiles I had recorded all have to be changed because all of them have cards that are either limited or banned, so that's one other reason for a little bit of the delay. But without further ado, let's just get right into it. First off, I run the 3 Arlecchino. Arlecchino is like the multi-faker of the deck. If you activate a trap, you can summon it. And whenever your opponent or special summons a monster once per turn, well, hard once per turn, but you can equip 1 Amazement trap directly from your deck to that monster. And the traps, they have different effects depending whether they're equipped to your opponent's monsters or to your monsters. And additionally, on your turn, because the obviously when your opponent summons a monster, that can be on their turn or your turn. On your turn, once per turn, you can banish any number of attraction traps from your graveyard. You can target that many cards your opponent controls, destroy them. So if your grave is filled with a lot of attractions traps, then you're going to be able to pop a lot of things. Then we have the, what did you call it, the evil version or something? I don't know. We got the Abomination of Arlecchino. This one, if you control an Amazement monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. Then you can add 1 Amazement Family Faces from your deck or graveyard to your hand. And during your opponent's turn, it has a quick effect to target one other effect monster on the field with more than 0 attack. Shuffle this card into the deck, and if you special summon Amazement Administrator Arlecchino from your deck, then change the attack of the target monster to 0. So it works in tandem with the other Arlecchino, but it's not quite as effective. Well, yes, the adding of Family Faces is nice. Family Faces isn't the best of the attraction traps, and we only play 1 of that, so. But thankfully, it also adds it from the grave, so it can be used multiple times. We also run 3 Comica, which on summon adds an attraction trap, or actually you can set an attraction trap directly from your deck, so no need to worry about Ash. And then we also run the 1 Dahlia. You reveal an attraction trap in your hand to special summon this card from your hand. Then you can send 1 attraction trap from your hand face up field to the graveyard to set 1 attraction trap directly from your deck. So it's kind of does like a lot of the same things as all the others, but it's basically just like an extra Comica in a way, or an extra Arlecchino in a way. Also run 3 copies, since it says a trap deck, of Wannabe. You have to run Wannabe. It's just so good in trap decks, especially ones that don't run continuous traps, which this one, outside of anti-spell, does not. But pretty much all the other traps are just normal traps. So Wannabe, during the end phase, you can send it to the graveyard or discard it from your hand to the graveyard. Then activate cards from the top of your deck up to the number of your opponent's unused spell and trap zones, which if you're going first, that will be 5. Unless they're playing Labyrinth, then they set like 3 traps on your first turn, which is annoying. Either way, you're still going to be able to get activated roughly 5, and then you can set 1 of those revealed traps directly in your spell and trap zone, although it is destroyed on the next end phase, but it's not likely to last that long. Moving on to the spells, which we don't have many. We run 3 Time Ticket and 3 Pot of Extravagance. Time Ticket gains different effects depending on whose turn you activate it on. If it's on your turn, you can add an Amazement card. Your opponent's set an attraction trap directly from your deck, and it can be activated that turn. Most oftentimes, you're probably going to be doing it going first because it says an Amazement card, so it works with, so it basically grabs you the monsters, and if you set it, it basically gives you a trap, which you can basically just use Time Ticket to grab the Comica to add a trap. So most oftentimes you're going to be activating on your first turn, but it's not a bad card to set if you have to. So, and Pot of Extravagance, we generally don't care about our extract that much, so if we end up banishing all our extract monsters, that's fine for the most part, except we also run a punishment. So we do have the other entity and test in there, and that's probably the only thing we really don't want to banish. Moving on to the traps, and we got a lot. I run 3 Cycle Coaster. Now the attraction traps gain effects depending on whether it's your monster it's equipped to or your opponent's. If it's equipped to your monster, you can target a spell trap your opponent controls, send both it and this card to the graveyard. If it's your opponent's monster, you can add an Amazement monster from your deck to your hand. We also run 3 of the Thrill Train. If it's equipped to your monster, you change the equipped monster's battle position, then your opponent. Choose 1 attraction trap in your graveyard and set it to your field. But if it's equipped to your opponent, you can banish that monster until the end phase. So it's most likely going to be equipped to your opponent, just like the Cyclo Coaster. We run 3 Maze Attraction Horror House. Horror House is basically a Book of Moon when it's equipped to your opponent monster. And if it's equipped to one of yours, it becomes an imperm. So for Horror House, both effects are good, so it's basically one of your key attraction traps. Also run the 1 Spiking Vortex, another pretty solid one, but pretty much weaker than these other three. If it's equipped to you, once per turn when a opponent's monster declares an attack, you can negate the attack. And if you do, change the control of the equipped monster till the end of the battle phase, and if it's equipped to your opponent and it wants to activate its effects, return to the hand. I do run the one family faces. Target one monster your opponent controls, equipped with an attractions trap, and equip this card to it. And while this card is equipped to a monster, you can take control of it. So basically, if one of your opponent's monsters has an attractions trap equipped to it, it becomes a snatch deal. Also run the one rapid racing. I really just have it in here as another Maze Attraction Trap name, because all of them have like either effect once per turn, and sometimes I run into a scenario where I already have access to all of these except Rapid Racing, and Rapid Racing will just kind of be that awkward one you'd add, but it's not bad. It can influence things a bit, especially for like a synchro deck, which probably aren't really too popular since Konami just decided to kill synchros outright. Weren't they supposed to be going into a synchro focused era? You know, with the Revolution Synchron and stuff. But if it's equipped to your opponent, you can increase the equipped monster's level by 1 till the end of the turn, and if you do, change its battle position. So depending on what you're playing, it can come up. Now, as far as like the generic traps I run 3 punishment. No, overall very solid. I run 3-dimensional barrier. This is basically what I added in to replace the summon limit, because we did run summon limit since we don't really summon much to begin with, but since summon limit's now banned, there's not really a lot of good like floodgates left, because they kind of hit mostly all of them. Really the only good ones left are like Soul Drain, Skill Drain, Debarrier. Not really a whole lot, so most trap decks have to act a little bit faster now. I still have one copy of the anti-spell because it's still good, and if it comes up, it comes up. And 3 Imperm, it's a trap deck. You're pretty much always going to run Imperm in that. Moving on to the extra deck. For the most part, our extra deck doesn't really matter too much, and we run multiple copies of stuff. Like I run 3 Lina and 3 Intess, which are pretty much going to be the main monsters we summon most of the time. Also run some XYZ monsters like a couple of Abyss Dweller, Mechaton, Yuska, you know, just solid level 4s, Tornado Dragon, 3 Flare Metal, and a Harmonizer Razor. And you also run the 1 Axis Code Talker too, probably should have been with the links, but I'd say outside of the test, you're not going to use your extra deck too much, so you really run kind of whatever you want. So I just run just generic good, rank 4s, 7s, just generically good cards. So that's it for my Amazement deck profile. Let me know what you think of Amazement. Think you're pretty cool? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.